Good morning, this is Bree. Welcome to our home. We are actually, what are we doing this morning, guys?
Easter!
We're celebrating Kids Easter this morning. Okay, so what we do for Kid Easter, and we usually do this on Easter, but Mommy forgot. Just very simply, I usually just get the kids a couple of small things like sidewalk chalk. I found these cool straws.
Huge sidewalk chalk.
Huge sidewalk chalk and bubbles.
I'm gonna put all these straws in and then drink out of them.
That looks like fun.
Watch. Watch, Mama.
I am watching. How's that going?
I drank 2 out of 2.
We have a full day today of just school and a little garden work. Something happened to my plants, so I'm going to show you what we're going to do about that. I don't think it's going to kill them, but it can kill them. So we are actually, after school today, going to go down and work in the garden. I also want to go down and kind of like visualize how I want to, what I want to plant around the greenhouse. And then I was gonna put in a strawberry bed where the greenhouse is, but then like that's how much I did not know about that greenhouse coming. Was I had planned to put strawberries there, which is fine. I mean, I love the greenhouse, so strawberries can go somewhere else, so we can figure that out. So I need to figure that out. Of course, as you know, bubbles are always a hit with all children of all ages. Look, Lulu. You want to go catch the bubbles? You're silly. He's pouring his bottle in there. Get the bubbles. Get the bubbles. Get them. Look, Roy. Pop. 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 That's right. Pop.
Hey, Ro, can you blow? Pop. No, okay.
Look, Roy, now you can do it yourself. Look, there's the wand. Take it out. Now blow it or roll it. Did you show him how to wave it?
He won't do it.
It's okay. It's a start. Jay just got spayed. You wouldn't know it with all of her energy.
It's so sad because she has to not be crazy, but she wants to be crazy.
I know, and she has a
Go
cone.
on like a mile walk, and then they're just like, nope, you have to go out and in.
I can't believe how like okay she is after getting spayed. JD. Here's her cone of shame. Grace just gives her little breaks from it. Like if Grace is watching her, she takes it off to give her a break. Now that she's spayed though, we are gonna put in a wireless fence. I've read a lot about them. They seem to really work. And they're basically like an underground fence, except that you don't have to bury a wire. We're really excited though for her to be able to run around more freely again, because she's not had a lot of freedom since we moved here. She's just only been able to go on walks and never be able to like run around in our yard. Because even if we had had the wireless fence, she could have gotten pregnant because she wasn't spayed yet.
It takes me my whole life.
I hope you learn the rest of it. Whoa, nice throw.
But I think I can do at least part of it.
Okay, who's ready for cinnamon rolls?
Me! Ro, say me. Nah.
Bro, you want some?
And know how you have 3 of them? Nah.
Little stinker.
Nah.
Are you telling her no and she's saying no back to you? Do it again. And then she was doing it too.
Why'd you?
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him above, ye heavenly hosts. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen. Happy Resurrection Day, guys. A week late. So I'm so proud of Grace. She only has 1 more week left of actual schoolwork. She has 2 more classes for middle school. And then she's a high schooler. And she has worked incredibly hard this year. She's been a part of a program called Challenge B through Classical Conversations. And it's definitely more rigorous than anything I ever did in 8th grade.
Really?
For sure. But I love the things that you've been learning. I love the way her class is set up. There's a lot of like debating and talking about subjects and working through them and like having different opinions, and it's amazing. And just the education that she is getting in that class has made my heart so happy. And then to just watch her like push through and work so hard has been incredible. Cool. But the best part is that she is about to reap the reward of her hard work and be done. Anyway, I cannot believe we're almost done with like all of our homeschool co-op and classes stuff for the year.
So I said I'm not, because I still have math.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's only April. We're not done with school, but we're just done with like our co-ops and stuff. A lot of sugar was consumed this morning, so we're all going outside to run it off. Did y'all get the sidewalk chalk? I'm gonna go get it. Whew, let's put some more clothes on the babies.
Okay.
You guys will find the water and you will play in it.
Here's my door.
Oh wow. So this got blown off. I think I'm just gonna pull it off for now. Put it back on later. My peas are jamming. Beautiful. So this damage actually occurred last week and I have not been able to deal with it. And it actually looks like most of the plants have already recovered, but some of them have not. Some of them have died from it. So let me show you what this is. You can kind of see it on this one as well. And these are all broccoli plants. Here's the cabbage. You can see it on the cabbage plants. So like, this is a healthier leaf, and then this is a leaf that has the spots. And honestly, this looks way better than it did whenever it first happened. So what that is it's actually sun scald. So what happened was one of my really sweet children wanted to bless me and came out in the middle of the day and watered the garden. And these were just little tender new plants. The water droplets acted as like a magnifying glass and it scalded the leaves, like sunburned basically the leaves of the plants. Now this can kill your plants, and so what you want to do is you want to go in and water them very gently at the roots, and you want to pull off all of the affected leaves. So that's what I'm doing right now. I was going to do this later today, but while we're outside, might as well work in the garden. I also needed to come in here anyway and thin out the ones that I had put 2 in a hole. So we're gonna do that right now too, if I have time. Anytime you have plants that have disease or bug damage or sun scald or anything like that, you want to remove those leaves because it weakens the plant. If you're dealing with fungus or disease, you want to actually get rid of those. You don't want to compost because then you're just putting that back into your soil, unless you're really good about heat treating your compost, which means basically getting your compost up to a temperature that it kills all weed seed, all fungus, all disease. If you're not doing that with your compost, and I would even be hesitant personally, just because I don't know enough about composting, I would be hesitant personally to ever put diseased leaves and things like that from my garden into my compost. I would either burn it or just throw it away. To be honest though, I'm actually really pleased with how these plants are doing, because a few days ago when I first noticed this, they all looked pretty pitiful. There was actually though this really nice gentle sweet rain like all weekend, and it really brought life back into all the plants in the garden that got sun scalded. You may be wondering too maybe how I dealt with that situation with the child that had watered in the middle of the day. Basically I didn't say anything to him. you know, days after it had happened, I did just give everyone a lesson on watering, but I didn't point out any specific person. And then I just talked about how the different reasons why we would water at different times and why maybe we wouldn't water in the middle of the day. I also talked about how sometimes we make mistakes. I think he even came to me later and was like, I did that. And I was like, I know, and I know you were just trying to bless me, and we all make mistakes. It's not a big deal. It's just a garden. You know, you're more important than any garden. And we're all learning how to garden here. So Mommy makes mistakes all the time in the garden, so we're not gonna make a big deal about it. But I did not address it to him in front of everybody because that would have embarrassed him and shamed him. So I just kind of gave a lesson on the garden to all the kids and then later talked to him alone about it. Oh, here comes my helper. Here he comes. Okay, so I'm actually gonna put this, I'm actually not gonna finish this right now. We'll get back into the garden we'll get back into the garden at nap time. Look at this beautiful flower. Look. You see the violet? It's a violet. Come on, Lulu! Good job getting down that hill. That's hard work. Do you want to see the flower? Oh my goodness. Okay, ready? Go get it. It is a glorious thing for it to be a beautiful spring day. School's done. House is cleaned up from Easter. Well, faux Easter. And I get to go out and work in my garden. Now let me tell you guys something very exciting. So I am cautiously optimistic. I met a new neighbor today. She's lived here a long time, and she told me that one, she thinks I can probably get a fence approved. She said she wasn't sure about a perimeter fence, but she really thinks that I could get a garden fence approved. And the reason she said was that a garden fence would be really pretty since my whole entire garden is out in the open, which she said nobody minds it. And then she said too that the new HOA president is really lax, and she thinks that he would probably approve it. Cautiously optimistic, but I'm going to show you guys my ideas, and we'll take a little tour of all the work that got done the other day and show you where I would put my fence. I have a sister who's an interior designer, and she can like draw up a computer rendering of what I want to bring to them and show it to them, and so she's gonna do that for me. But first things first, today I need to transplant some plants into holes where plants have died, and I have to finish dealing with this sun scald. The way your plants can get sun scald is by not hardening them off. So if they've been grown in a greenhouse, and then if you were to come out and just immediately plant them, that can cause sun scald. I did harden these off, so I know that's not what caused it. I know that it was the watering that day. And so the only way you can really deal with it, so the damage is already done. And what your hope is gonna be is that it didn't damage so many leaves that it's gonna kill the whole plant. And most of mine look fine. I just need to go in and pull off the sun scalded leaves and then replace the dead plants. Of course, the ways that you can prevent sun scald are plant on overcast days, plant your tender plants on overcast days if you can, or in the evening if you can. Water in the evenings. You could probably even water in the morning. I tend to water in the evenings though, and I've never had this happen before. And then always harden off your plants. You can also use some shade cloth if you feel like that's necessary for whatever you're planting. All right, so what we're gonna do is see the plants that have like white spots on the leaves. You're gonna delicately pluck those leaves off. And then when we're done with that, you see how some of the plants have died? Like that one died, and that one died, and that one down there died. Well, some of our holes thankfully have 2 plants in them, so we'll just replace those dead ones with some of the holes that have 2 plants, okay? Why don't you start plucking and I'll start replacing. Sound good? Great, thank you.
Is that one dead over there?
No, it's just small where I picked up a bunch of leaves off. Let's see, does this have 2? I can't tell if that's true or one, yeah. Okay, so this has 2 plants. I'm gonna try to separate those without hurting them. Typically what I would do is just pinch one of these off and then let the other one grow. So I'm not sure I can do this in a way that's not gonna hurt the plant. Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. It's gonna hurt it. So I'm gonna look and see which one I think is the most hardy. And really they both look about the same. So I'm just gonna pinch that one off. Pinch all those little baby leaves off. And go ahead and pinch the sun-scalded leaves off. Now that guy's got a little bit more of a chance to live. So just to recap, when your plants have sun scald, there's nothing you can do to like fix it, but what you can do is gently support the plant to hopefully bring it back to life, which is basically pinch off the leaves that are affected, water it gently at the roots. If you need to, put shade cloth over it so it can recover. Mine didn't need any of that. They recovered without it, except the ones that died. So maybe they needed it. Honestly, don't know if it's worth trying to trying to replace the dead ones with ones that have 2 in a hole, because I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt the other plant. This one was pretty heavily affected, so I'm gonna see if I can get it to come back to life by plucking all these leaves off. We'll see. This one might just die though. I've made the executive decision to just buy like a little thing of 6 plants to replace the ones that are dead, rather than try to separate these, because I think they've already been stressed enough that trying to separate their roots would be too stressful and would kill the plant that I'm keeping. So I'm gonna show you what we do instead. I have 2 plants growing here, and this one looks a lot stronger to me. It has a nice strong stem, it's sitting upright. This one has less leaves. It's flopped over a little, probably because this one's getting a lot more of the nutrition. You just gently pinch this off with your fingernails. So as not to hurt this plant. And then you could also use scissors though.
Done.
Awesome. Can you do the broccoli row now?
Yeah. Should we put the netting back on this one?
Yeah, when I'm done thinning them out. I'm gonna thin them out real quick. Then we've got this whole row of kale and Swiss chard to do as well.
That one's dead too.
Yeah, that one is too. Do you see that one?
Oh.
Totally dead. So how many did we have die? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 are dead, but I remember that 2 plants in the cabbage row were actually on their way out before that happened. So I think we really only lost 3 so far anyway. We may lose 1 more, but I think that's all we're gonna lose from the sun scald. Some of you may be wondering 2 things. Why did you put more than 1 plant in a hole, and then why are you thinning them? So the reason I put more than 1 plant in a hole is that the seed plugs that I used, the little starts, had more than 1 in them. And at the time I just thought, okay, they're so little, I'll just plant them now, and then I'll go in and break off the one that's not thriving. So it just kind of gave me a better chance of a plant surviving. And then the reason I'm thinning them is because if they're planted that close together, they won't form a head, they won't form a fruit, and they won't get enough nutrition. So it would just be pointless to leave 2 that close together.
Look at this leaf.
Oops. You gonna show me again? Yeah, it's totally dead, but the rest of the plant looks good. Awesome. You may even be wondering how I knew that it was sun scald and not a lack of a certain nutrient or some kind of disease affecting my plants. And the reason is because it looked like, especially when it first happened, before the leaves started to die on the plants, you could see that it would look like where water drops had fallen on the tops of the plants. It wasn't really the bottom leaves, it was on the tops of a lot of the plants, and it looked like little speckles of water drops. And then the leaves that were most affected turn white and die. Okay, time to thin the broccoli. There is some broccoli over here as well.
Can I go over there and pull that dead one out?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'm just gonna remove that amount of this one.
Okay, good idea.
You could go grow back. It still has a stem.
you shake the dirt back down in there? Do it off with your hand.
There might be some. Did I just throw it? Throw it as it is the netting.
The soil feels so nice on my feet, and the mulch hurts. Anytime it's been dry, the mulch just hurts.
We're probably gonna have to go through here again because I don't really know which ones to pick and not pick.
You're doing great. You're doing perfect. In my opinion. Yeah, you're right. Let's not throw it on the netting because then those leaves will just fall back down on the plant, so we don't want that. Do you know how to tell which plant to keep and which plant to get rid of whenever you're thinning? And honestly, these are kind of big to be thinning, but you want to know how? Come here, I'll show you. Sometimes it can be tricky because they look so much alike. But first thing you're going to do is look at the stem and see which one looks like it has the stronger stem. Which one has the stronger stem to you?
This one.
Yep, so you're going to pick that one. And then you're going to look at the leaves. Which one has bigger, darker green leaves? Yep, so we'll take this one. They looked almost the same though, but you could tell a slight difference, huh?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you want to do this one?
Yeah. I think we should take this one out.
Instead of pulling it out, because that'll hurt the roots of this one, you're just going to take it
and trim it at the bottom.
Pinch it off like you do the leaves.
Got it.
Good job. So how did you decide that one, not this one?
This one was kind of droopy.
Mm-hmm.
But also because this one didn't have very much leaves on, and the leaves were really small.
Okay, throw it over there. You want to do this one too? This one.
The time loader.
Yeah, that's perfect. Just as long as there's no leaves. Oh my goodness, look at how beautiful. Hold on, let's just step back and look at the garden. Oh, it is so beautiful. I love seeing it without the cover on it. We should probably go ahead and put the cover on the brassicas though, real quick. Okay. The romaine looks great. But here is the Swiss chard. So here's an example of the sun skulled on the Swiss chard, but this is advanced. At first it was just little white dots. I guess we'll find out. So the spinach, the arugula, baby greens. This is where the carrots will be. Now I am a little concerned that they're not going to germinate because I think my soil got dried out, but I'm going to just keep tending it as if it didn't and see what happens. And there's a piece of my cardboard, but it looks like what I had covering actually got blown away, which is a bummer. I should have weighted it down better. And usually I wouldn't water in the middle of the day, but I'm just going to water those carrots. It's not like they have a plant that has come up that could get burned. So I'm going to go ahead and get those watered, and then I'll actually water them again this evening whenever I water the whole garden. Something I did differently with carrots, which makes me wonder if I'm gonna get a good germination and harvest, is that I usually plant them really heavily and then thin them really well to kind of just guarantee that I get them germinated. And I didn't do that because I didn't have much seed. So I may be replanting them, which is fine.
Sometimes there's a rainbow when you look in it.
That is so cool. Brighton is quickly misting his carrots. Another thing is, whenever you water your little baby carrot seeds, they're so tender, they're so easy to be moved by the water.
Rainbow.
Cool.
Do you see it?
Uh-huh. You found a rainbow in the misty water. Carrot seeds are so tiny that it's easy for them to get carried away by the water or the soil that's being displaced if you water heavily. So you want to use a really gentle water so that you don't disturb your seeds. All right, Justice went to go get me some cardboard to replace the missing pieces. Thank you. All right, problem solved. Put a few rocks on there. My garden work for the day is basically done, so let me show you my vision for my garden fit. For one, I'm gonna extend this end of the garden out so that I have a little more planting space. I don't know if I'll do that this year or another year. And then let me show you, I'm gonna extend my garden over here as well. Okay, so the extension I was telling you about is on that side. And then this whole side beside the greenhouse is, I'm gonna have this all tilled up soon for planting strawberries. I need a place for my strawberries, rhubarb, and asparagus. So this is gonna be a strawberry bed. And then I think this is gonna be like a little rhubarb patch here. I would like to have a fence come out from way over there, way over here, and then all the way out to the fence. The fence come from here, all the way along the property line, and then keep going around the curve. Okay, all the way to the driveway, just this side of the driveway, and then come up the driveway and in next to the garage on this side, and there would be a gate there. That's what I would want if I could get a perimeter fence approved. A more realistic probably idea is to just fence in the garden, and then I would have the fence go around everything I showed you and then behind the greenhouse. That would be 10 times more affordable, most likely, and also probably more likely to get approved. But I'm gonna ask my sister to render 2 pictures, and then we'll see if either one gets approved. But the fact that it's a possibility gives me cautious hope.
Can I pick some of these pea greens to eat?
Okay, you can pick a couple. Why can I, how do I say no to that?
They're just so good.
Maybe pick them from the middle. See how lush it is in the middle of the path? In the middle of the row? Well, that's all the gardening I have to do right now. So you know what it's time for then, right? Iced coffee time. So good after working in the garden. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. You're making my sandwich just the way I like it. That's pudding. It's very spicy.
Yeah.
It's so sweet to me that she knows exactly how I like my sandwich, because I like it with chipotle mayo. But you're making lunch for everyone, huh? So cool. A lovely picnic put on by Joyful. Everyone give the baby some cheese puffs. Delicious homemade lemonade. Well everyone, it is only 3:40 and all the work that I have to do today is done. And instead of going on to work that I could do, I'm gonna sit and read my book because I have almost a whole hour that I can do that before I need to make dinner. Hey, on this gorgeous day, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I've set up these little rapscallions with water in a little Tupperware container. I've blocked the entrance. I have a nice place to sit for myself. Could there be a better view to enjoy my book too? My greenhouse is coming along. My summer garden is prepped. I'm envisioning how beautiful I'm gonna make it all around the greenhouse with flowers and herbs. Listen to the birds, enjoy the sunshine until the dinner rush. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video.